and then we'll just parachute in a brother.
Democratic view. Tim Stanley. Tim Stanley.
Everything that John MacDonald has just said, I actually agree with about the need for a new style of politics. But people don't just vote on style, they also vote on substance. And I'm sorry, John, you're a nice guy, Jeremy's a nice guy, but you're too extreme for this country. And people will not vote for you.
Just define extreme, can you?
When it comes to economics, when it comes to foreign policy, you're outside the mainstream of what people agree.
Can I respond to
take
that?
Okay, but let me just explain. Here's what happened in the leadership election. 3 Blairites ran against an agent of change, and the Labour Party, understandably, exhausted by Blairism, exhausted by spin and by Iraq, rejected them, and instead went with a guy who offered them honesty, principle, and old-fashioned socialism. And I deeply respect those principles. The problem is that by doing that, the Labour Party went against electoral logic. Because what happened at the last election? Well, every poll shows us that people overwhelmingly voted Conservative and not Labour because they thought Labour was too left-wing. So to then elect a guy who is even more left-wing than someone who was called Red Ed, I think is probably a bit of a mistake. Now, by doing that, can I just add, this is an important point, I'm not saying this because I'm cheering this on. On the contrary, the Labour Party has produced great progress and change in this country. Minimum wage, legalisation of gay relationships, the Open University. There are weak and vulnerable people out there who need a strong Labour Party, but it can only fight for them and it can only stand up for them if it is electable and it reaches out to the political centre.
I'll come to both of you in a minute. I just want to hear from some more members.